Thanks for watching my revision of my American history notes. I want to redo them, and I had some things I want to dig into a little bit more deeper. So, other stories tell of how outside of the town of Los Lunas, New Mexico, there have been found inscriptions on rock that are said to be reproductions of the Ten Commandments. And in Hebrew, dating from 500 to 2,000 years old. So it's reproductions of the Ten Commandments, and in Hebrew at that. That's what they're claiming. This highly disputed translation is well documented by many as being proof that Hebrews, among others, did land in North America sometime in the past. Is that true? Who knows? One of the most articulate scholars on the topic of visitors to North America that were not what we would traditionally call Native Americans or Indians was Harvard professor Barry Fell, who died in 1994. His book, America BC, Ancient Settlers in the New World, is a highly controversial book which details how he believes scholars have deciphered inscriptions found all over the Americas and what was called the New World by European explorers. He details how ancient ships visited North America and left behind records of colonies by Celts, Basques, Libyans, and even Egyptians. These inscriptions occur on buried temples, on tablets, and on gravestones, he says, as well as cliff faces. We don't know if this is true or not. It's disputed. In addition, the book 1491, New Revelations of the Americas Before Columbus by journalist Charles Mann, makes the case for a very populous continent in comparison to what we have always thought, with towns and cities that were larger than many in Europe. Most of the larger population centers were in Central and South America, but there was a large population of small villages, farms, as well as hunting and gathering peoples in North America also. Much of what we know or think we know about America's past comes from our interpretation of archaeological evidence and from our evaluation of earlier stories and legends. But what do we do with Celtic inscriptions, Hebrew writing, and the remains of giants up to 12 foot tall in certain burials? Well, just like in the rest of the world, we have to understand that for the scientist who tries to discover these things, there is little evidence. Most of it remains buried, and much speculation. The scientist who studies things that defy the scientific method, in other words, he can experiment on them under controlled conditions, observe, make a record of his observations, and pass them on to other scientists to repeat his efforts to come up with the same conclusions, is forced simply by the nature of human endeavor and thinking to come up with some conclusion, to not only examine evidence, but no matter how little the evidence, to reach some point where he says, that means this. As a Bible believer, I have faith in the clear statements of the Bible to explain how mankind reached every part of the earth after the Great Flood, which destroyed the earth and formed the geography that we now know. First, I'm going to briefly talk about some of the things from the Bible, and I think it's interesting. Think about Atlantis, Mu, South Asian Indian religious epics, the Vedas, and things like that. So we'll stop there. And thank you for watching my revision of my American history notes. And please click like, subscribe, or follow, and share the video with someone else. I'm not trying to make money, okay? I'm just trying to get out the notes that I read. I want people to be able to see them and also question them. And if you criticize or disagree with something I say, I'm going to learn from you. So provide your citations. Thank you very much.